these ideas, I would like to even suggest these 5 things. These should be such things which would affect everyone. There are some norms of the law which will be only for some universities or institutions, but there are some norms that are for everyone, like the change of the rules of licensing and accreditation of the universities. I believe that the ministry is doing very useful thing, trying to do that from the very beginning of their activity, before the law became effective. What does that mean? That means that the procedures of accreditation, the procedures of licensing, just as accreditation, should become much simpler. Many issues on which many depended should disappear. There should be the number of levels of approvals has to be reduced. We now have the new procedure which is approved by the government. We have the new commission which will be doing it, and we hope that there will be a new procedure of accreditation. That is for everyone, because every program has to go through that system. Every program has to be accredited by this system. This should happen at every level. This is the first thing which will demonstrate how that is working. Then we were talking about introducing new local systems of quality assurance. Also, there will be the indicator whether the law is successful or not when the universities will be able to have defense of the doctorate papers, and we will not have the PhDs who had to get so many approvals. If these procedures are successful, then this will be a very good indicator of the success of the whole system. And I believe that these 3 directions, and that's the 4th one, which also would be a very good indicator. It's obvious that some part of re-elections in different universities was not implemented during the revolutionary events, and now there's a new stage of such re-elections. If these elections are successful, this will be a classical demonstration of whether this law is right. The ministry lives according to this law, does not try to impose its will, and that guarantees for us the development in the right direction. I understand Sergiy Mironovich in the sense that he has the experience of working as the president, as the rector of the university, and he looks at all these changes which have to take place, and he's looking at it from his experience of Kiev-Mohyla Academy. But not all the Ukrainian universities have the experience that the Kiev-Mohyla University has. And that is why we have one problem, which is there's no tradition, autonomy, but there's the tradition of being over-regulated. From the times of Confucius, we know how powerful any tradition is. And the Ministry of Education, without interfering with the autonomy, has to distance itself from the necessity to develop certain recommendations as to implementation of procedures, like recognition of the diploma which was received abroad. Are there in the scientific council of any university, the experts on this or that problem, are they authorized to make a decision? If, for example, the person got a diploma on biotechnology, and we have just very few experts in biotechnologies in Ukraine. So the recommendations, are they to be considered by the chair or not? Because there are no specialized councils. Maybe the academic, the scientific council has to recognize the Western diploma in any case, but we have to give a recommendation and to influence forming the new culture. Just to say, use the new autonomy. If we do that, we will have many problems with procedures, with decision making, with the quality. And that is why we are not talking about over-regulation, but we are talking about developing a new tradition, the tradition which is within the autonomy. And I would like us to work on these traditions. Let the universities share. The Ukrainian Catholic University can produce a lot, but the Ukrainian Catholic University is created on different economic traditions than the existing universities in Ukraine, especially because this university is absolutely independent financially from the state budget, and that allows it today to lead. But to share that experience is important. We will need some roundtables. We will need to discuss this problem, and it's good that there's a website where we can put all these things to. And I would like to thank the ministry for doing that. But the procedure of electing the rector, I reported last year. Last year, we had everyone who was involved into elections. We did not limit. It wasn't related to the law, because according to the law, only some part of collective had to participated in elections. Like in some universities where they had 30,000 students, they had only 180 delegates who were electing. And there's just one requirement of the law: publicity. We have not publicized our personnel, our staff. We have the rector's report, which is published on the website. The budget is on the website. The report, financial report for every quarter, is on the website. There's no problem if there is a big desire. But do we all have a desire to change and to be public? Because I'm sure that in many universities, unfortunately, there will be such a thing. Let's select the rector, because the head of the chair will be sure that he is used to work, he will be supporting, and then this inertia will continue. That is why it's very important to form a new academic culture. We need today to stimulate the internal mobility in Ukrainian universities, which we lack, the internal mobility of the students, which we lack. Before we wrap up, I would like to ask you, do you have any other ideas? I will just react to recognition of the foreign diploma by the Scientific Council. The Scientific Council considers many issues which are very specialized, because it has different experts, and that's responsibility of the chair that hires the teacher, if they need a certain teacher, professor with a certain diploma, the expert in a certain sector, the chair says that they need such an expert, and then the scientific council reacts to that. The philosophy cannot understand the commission, but the situation is not that complicated. Wrapping it up, I would like to say there are many challenges, but how certain actors of the process start using the law, some universities, some chairs. Well, the ministry is following the letter and the spirit of the law. There could have been just recommendation nature of the law, but the implementation itself, the website asvita.gov.ua is quite important now, where everyone can use it, can comment, can use the best practices and can monitor, because there are indicators and deadlines of every step of implementation of the law. That's very positive. I would like to add that the civil society, and I'm the representative of that, we will also open another online resource, and it will be called profrights.org, where every professor, student, citizen can register the information about violation of the law on higher education. Our lawyers will verify that. Sometimes the person probably does not understand the norms, and this way we will get the database of violations on non-implementation of the new law, because the website will demonstrate it in iconographs, and there will be the separate sections there, and we will point out the weak things in the law. I would like to thank all the participants for your time and your ideas, and I would like to thank the journalists for participation. I have a question. Could you please tell, you mentioned that in the law there's a direct norms as to publishing the budget on a website. Does the ministry monitor that information? And the second one, in how many universities there should be the elections of the leadership? Does the Ministry of Education plan to monitor that? Thank you. We're not doing any monitoring because the law has just become effective, and all the main norms which are related to money, especially to funds, this becomes effective starting from the next teaching year, academic year. So we're not monitoring. We're just calling upon. We are doing a lot of awareness campaign. As to elections, I do not have this information about how many elections will be held. We delayed 7 elections because of this new law. All the elections which will be held, all the future elections, they will be organized according to the new law, but they require the bylaw. Thank you. Any other questions? And also, one more question. You mentioned that you removed the leadership of some, not leadership, just the rector, the president. If this is no secret, what was the basis? Why was such a decision made? We have complaints that the university, instead of educational process, is mobilized to support Sergiy Kivalov, who's the president of that university. and he is going to the elections, to the parliament, and we have a suspicion that they use the students as administrative resource. I sent the official request why this is happening, and I received the answer that this doesn't happen. But we have too many evidence, a lot of video materials, and you need to understand what's happening, whether the university is studying or whether they are supporting one candidate. It's like a cartoon, and this removal of the rector is just for some time to understand what's happening in the university. And he's not dismissed. He's just temporarily suspended from his job, and the first vice rector is now acting rector. I hope we will meet again and we'll discuss many other interesting